What if minions started a wildlife rescue operation? This idea has been bouncing around my head for a while now, and I can't get it out. So let me know how good this could be. Dave is a highly trained wildlife rescuer who seems to have done just about everything right in his professional career. But when he picks up a phone call from someone who found a small animal stuck up a tree, he doesn't expect the person on the other line to be a minion. He is also shocked when 5 more show up at the scene with cages ready to trap the creature. The poor thing has already been there for hours, and Dave tries to reassure the trembling squirrel before getting into action. After many attempts, he is finally able to get close enough to coax the squirrel into a cage, but this is where things start to go wrong. When the first minion tries to carry the cage down the tree, they begin slipping and sliding all over the place, and Dave grabs onto the trunk to steady himself. As they reach the ground, their efforts make the squirrel extremely frightened, and they end up dropping the cage. The scared little creature darts away and runs off into the bushes. Feeling bad for the squirrel, Dave lets the minions try again, but unfortunately, they manage to agitate it even more than before. And after another failed attempt, the squirrel bolts and runs up another tree. This time, instead of trying to climb after it, the minions stay grounded and construct a large net. While it takes them some time to finish their contraption, the squirrel eventually gets bored and comes back down. Once the net is in place, the minions excitedly gather around it, but once again, their lack of coordination causes problems as they inadvertently kick the net and scare the squirrel away. The chase is on again as the tiny rodent dashes away from the minions and speeds across the yard. It looks like the rescue will fail, but then something changes. One minion who had been silent until now stands up and utters a determined grunt. They run to the shed and pull out some tools, then proceed to fix the net. Their friends watch attentively while the minion makes adjustments and reinforces weak spots with duct tape. As Dave watches, he can't help but be impressed by the single minion's focus and attention to detail. It's clear that this individual is different from the others, and he wonders what might happen next. The repaired net is set up beneath the tree, and the squirrel cautiously descends. The minions hold their breath as it approaches the net, hoping it will go inside willingly. Just as Dave thinks the rescue will succeed, the squirrel suddenly runs back up the tree and disappears into its branches. Disappointed, the minions slump to the ground and hang their heads. Dave tries to console them, but they aren't having it and march right past him toward the woods. Curious, Dave follows them to see where they go. He finds the squirrel stuck high up in a tree and tries to talk the minions out of their plan to save it. He reasons that the squirrel is safe for now and will come down on its own when it's ready. However, the minions shake their heads and point to the animal, adamant about helping. Realizing he won't be able to stop them, Dave steps aside and lets the minions take over. He watches as they work together to bring down the damaged net and set up a new one beneath the tree. The squirrel shivers on its branch, clearly afraid of what the minions might do next. The minions prepare for their next move, each taking a position around the base of the tree. They nod at each other, then spring into action. One minion distracts the squirrel by making funny faces while another sneaks closer with a cage. The squirrel doesn't fall for the trick, though, and remains wary. The minions try again, with one pretending to be a log while another positions the cage. This time, the squirrel reacts and jumps into the trap. Relieved, the minions cheer and celebrate their success. Dave watches them and realizes that despite their size and strength, they are actually very sweet animals. Back at the headquarters, the minions have brought out every gadget and gizmo they can find. One minion holds up a pair of binoculars while another consults a map of the area. They are planning their next mission, which involves rescuing an injured goose. The minions are buzzing with excitement, and Dave feels like he is in charge of an entire department at a big company. As the minions get ready, one grabs a banana from a bowl on the table and peels it carefully. Another minion points to the peel and examines it closely, then throws it in the trash. Dave doesn't understand what they are saying, but he observes them curiously. He knows that no matter how hard it may seem at times, the minions always try their best. The team arrives at the pond and sees the goose floating helplessly in the water. Without hesitation, the minions jump in to save the day. They form a human chain, each grabbing onto the next minion, and attempt to pull the bird out of the water. But their efforts don't seem to be working, and Dave fears they might all end up exhausted and defeated. But that's not the case, because after a few moments, the goose starts to move towards the shore. Encouraged by the progress, the minions work harder and successfully pull the injured bird out of the water. As soon as the goose is on land, the minions scatter and grab supplies from their vehicles. They quickly set up a first aid station near the water and carefully examine the goose's wounds. One minion takes charge and barks orders at the others, who rush to follow them. Dave watches in amazement as the minions work together to care for the injured animal. He's never seen them so focused and efficient, and he wonders what else they might be capable of. The minions continue their important work, and Dave feels inspired by their dedication. He realizes that no matter how challenging the task, as long as you have a kind heart and a willingness to help others, anything is possible. The rescued animal is loaded into the vehicle and the minions head home. Dave sits in the front seat next to the driver, feeling tired but satisfied with the day's work. The rescued goose is placed in a warm, comfortable bed and the minions stand around it anxiously. They wait patiently for the animal to wake up, and once it does, they cheer. Dave observes the minions and realizes that even though they don't always succeed in their missions, they never give up. He admires their courage and compassion, and he knows that they will continue to help animals in need, no matter what challenges they face. Despite their small size, the minions have big hearts, and they prove it every day by saving lives and bringing happiness to those in need. As the sun sets, the minions gather around the rescued animals, their faces lit up with joy. They may not always do things the right way, but they do it with kindness and enthusiasm, and that's all that matters. In the morning, the minions are up bright and early, eager to start another day of helping animals. They check on their rescued companions, making sure they are healthy and happy. One of the minions notices a small bird that has fallen out of its nest and is in danger of being stepped on by people walking by. Without hesitation, the minion rushes to help, scooped up the tiny bird and cradled it gently. The other minions gather around and examine the bird, trying to figure out what to do next. Some suggest putting it back in its nest, while others offer to take care of it until it can fly on its own. As they discuss the best course of action, Dave watches proudly. He knows that no matter what challenges the minions face, they always come together to help those in need. They decide to build a temporary shelter for the bird, using twigs and leaves to create a cozy nest. They place the bird inside and keep it safe from harm. Dave smiles, realizing that these small creatures with their big hearts are truly a force for good in the world. As the days pass, the rescued animals thrive under the care of the minions. The goose is fully recovered and returns to its home in the pond, while the squirrel now spends its days scampering around the minions' headquarters. The small bird, too, grows stronger and prepares to take flight. The minions are overjoyed to see the animals happy and healthy, and they feel a deep sense of satisfaction knowing that they made a difference in their lives. They continue their important work, rescuing and caring for animals in need, and they remain dedicated to their mission, no matter what challenges they face. As the sun sets, casting a warm glow over the horizon, the minions gather together, reflecting on the day's events. They share stories and laughter, their voices echoing through the quiet night. Despite the challenges and setbacks they've faced, the minions feel a deep sense of accomplishment. They know that together they can make a difference in the world, one animal rescue at a time. And so, as the stars twinkle above them and the moon beams down its silvery light, the minions drift off to sleep, dreaming of new adventures and the animals they'll help tomorrow.